During a recent Kamala Harris rally, in an unscripted moment, the current VP and hopeful future US president made it very, very clear how she feels about Christians. Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. I truly do appreciate all of you being here. Please be sure to hit that like button, make sure that you are subscribed, and turn on your notifications to my channel so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we are about to have. So over the weekend, Kamala Harris was holding a rally in Crosse, Wisconsin, and during her speech, somebody from the back yelled, "Christ is King and Jesus is Lord." And her unscripted response to those statements says everything that we need to know about how this person truly feels about Christians in America and about our Judeo-Christian foundation. And honestly, this should warrant a loss of support from every Christian voter in America who planned on supporting this person. Let's have a listen.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
I know that that particular recording wasn't super clear. You couldn't really hear it very well, but there are others that we will get into. But of course, there were a lot of people questioning whether the hecklers were saying anything about Jesus or if it was something taken out of context to make Christian voters turn against this woman, though I personally cannot for the life of me understand why anybody that has even a seed of belief in God would support this person, because in my opinion, this woman is an absolute demon. But people were saying that that's not what the audience members said. So, of course, that was the first question that needed to be answered. Is this what actually happened? Did they yell Jesus is Lord? And did Kamala really tell them that they were at the wrong rally? We are going to play one response that I found from a beta male for Kamala Harris who's desperate to correct the record. So let's just hear what he has to say.
Is up to their same old trick and their same old playbook. They're twisting what actually happened at a Kamala Harris rally. They were saying that at Kamala Harris's rally, 2 hecklers a couple of days ago were saying Jesus is Lord. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that actual audio.
Intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
You actually hear is lies, lies, lies. So when Kamala Harris said that you're at the wrong rally, you were looking for the one down the street that's a little smaller, she was completely right to clap back at that. And furthermore, what they conveniently left out was the fact that after this, Kamala Harris said that this conversation about this particular topic is a conversation to have between your pastor, your rabbi, your imam, or any of those other religious figures, not the government. Sounds like a pretty conservative position. Interesting how they left that part out.
Whether or not you should be talking to your pastor or minister about killing the unborn is an entirely different conversation, but no, that is not a conservative position. But what he's saying, it's definitely a take. But let's hear from people who were actually there, because those are the people that the left actually likes to ignore. They only listen to the media spin on things instead of getting information from firsthand witness accounts. So we're going to listen to a woman who was actually there and that just happened to be recording right at the moment that this happened. And she did attend both the Trump rally and the Kamala Harris rally that were happening in this area. And from what I can tell, she was the first person to put the story out there based on actually being there in person. So let's hear what she has to say.
A few weeks ago, I attended the Trump rally here in my town. Before I dive into what I'm about to share, here's a peek at that. Well, today I found out that Kamala Harris was coming to my town, so I decided to go. I wanted to see the differences. Notably, I had to show my ID to get in to see her. But anyway, I was making a video talking actually about how sad I was that the loudest cheering at the rather small event came in support of abortion. when I panned over to the crowd and to her speaking, and I caught something I wasn't expecting. Check it out. Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies. So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally." And then she said, "Try the smaller one down the street." Everyone laughed and laughed and cheered, but I was at that rally. There were almost 7,000 people at it. Today they said there were 2,500. Nobody waiting. Open spaces.
This was actually a closer take on that incident. I've watched the clip a few times now, and I don't think it is any less disgusting each time I watch it, because first, in that moment, she is talking about abortion. She's talking about killing babies and using words like protection when it comes to this egregious and despicable practice of ripping babies out of the womb of their mothers, when clearly these babies are getting anything but protection in every single one of these scenarios. And she's also lying about the Supreme Court, saying that Trump basically appointed these particular people, these particular justices, with only one purpose in mind, which was to overturn Roe v. Wade, not to actually uphold our Constitution based on the way it was written, and to hold the purpose for which it was created by our founding fathers, which was to protect the rights that we are given just because we are human beings and children of God, and that there are rights that other human beings do not have the right to take away from us, no matter how much money, power, status, or popularity they have, or how many votes they get. That there are certain rights that people should be afforded in all circumstances, which is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But to the radical far left extremists, of whom Kamala Harris is a very proud leader of, they have made our Constitution and our foundational beliefs as a nation entirely about one of the most despicable practices that has ever been adopted by our country, and that is the killing of the unborn. So she's in the middle of a speech about that when these two hecklers, been confirmed that it was two young men, tested Kamala and her entire crowd on their true beliefs. They shouted something that, regardless of your political affiliation as a Christian, that you should never be ashamed to agree with, no matter who or you are in the presence of. And in that moment, she demonstrated exactly who she is and what she stands for. And her entire base followed suit, laughing and mocking, which in turn showed us exactly what they stand for. So just who were these two hecklers? So according to this article from the Daily Mail, it says two of the protesters, University of Wisconsin lacrosse juniors, Grant Beth and Luke Pulaski, say that Harris's reaction was evil and they were inspired by God to show up. Beth said that not just the vice president, but her entire crowd was cruel to the students. "I was pushed by an elderly woman. We were heckled at, we were cursed at, we were mocked, and that's the biggest thing for me personally," Beth said. He added that at one point, Harris waved to them mockingly and gave them what he called an evil smirk as he held up a cross. "She was actually waving to me. I took this cross off my neck that I wear as we were getting asked to leave. I held it up in the air and waved at her and pointed at her, and she looked directly in the eye, kind of gave me an evil smirk," Pulaski said. Beth says that no matter what people thought of them, they were there for the right reasons. "In reality, we did God's work, we were there for the right reasons, and God is watching us at that moment," Beth added. "I'm all about being a cordial person no matter your beliefs, but I do believe that we were sent there by God." So now we have confirmation about who the two young men were that yelled this at the Kamala Harris rally, so that is undeniable, and they themselves are telling us exactly what they said. So again, that is undeniable. But the disdain for Christians wasn't just demonstrated by her comments at this one event. The article then goes on to discuss the historic notable absence by the current presidential candidate at the Al Smith Memorial Dinner, which is a white tie dinner held on the third Thursday in the October just before the presidential election. And it is hosted by the Archbishop of New York and meant to raise funds for Catholic charities to help give to children in need that are in the area. It has long been a tradition for both presidential candidates to attend and give a speech in which they're encouraged to poke fun at themselves and to poke fun at each other. Trump attended this year, and it could not have been easy for him. Chuck Schumer sat right beside him as he was giving his speech, yet despite the fact that Schumer has taken to pretty much painting Trump as a terrorist, Trump still had nice things to say to him. Letitia James was also in the audience. Half of the people in attendance have been actively trying to imprison and bankrupt this man, yet he showed up, he gave a speech, and he didn't portray himself as a victim, but he used that time to actually make people laugh.
Coming in very, very strong a certain way. I won't tell you what way that is, but Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Walsh on Saturday Night Live. And that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts. It better be quick. We don't want him, and I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Walsh isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was.
Kamala, on the other hand, the best she could do was participate in a skit with Molly Shannon, referring to a movie that no one younger than like 40 years old is going to understand, and the reception to that skit was polite laughter at best. Let's have a look at that really quick.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Elliott. Mary Catherine, it's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now, I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. Haters gonna hate. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. Good for you, Mary Catherine.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also remember one more thing. Don't worry if you make a mistake, because Catholic people are very forgiving. Yeah. And also, one last thing I want to tell you, don't forget to say, superstar!
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Kamala.
Thank you.
First, it's interesting that Kamala had to hire somebody to be funny for her because this woman has no idea how to do humor. She busts out into her signature cackle over things that are not funny to anybody else in the room and makes every situation that she does it in completely awkward. Secondly, the lack of ability to do real humor and what this woman actually finds funny shows us that I think she might actually be a psychopath, because when she goes off script, the first thing that comes naturally to her when she wants to make people laugh in a way that's genuine to who she is, first thing she thinks of is to just mock God. Third, in this skit, instead of truly understanding the assignment and making fun of herself and trying to even attempt to bridge the gap between herself and Trump or between herself and the other half of the country, the only thing that was mocked in this skit were Catholics by saying that the Al Smith dinner was comparable to the Last Supper. Not to mention, she included somebody in this skit who has openly said that Catholicism is a cancer. These things are not coincidences. They are not accidents. This woman shows us who she is over and over and over again. The teleprompter is the only thing that hides that, because when she takes these unplanned moments, the truth actually comes out and we see exactly what she thinks of like 90% of the country who believe in God over government. And that goes against everything that she and the radical leftists that have now taken over the Democrat Party stand for. There are a lot of people who are not happy with this situation, and they are now speaking out, trying to get the attention of their fellow Christians who seem to think that this woman gives one crap about God, religion, Christianity, or faith.
And when that lady said that he was at the wrong rally, that right there let me know, hey, I got to speak on this. I got to speak on this, because at first I was like back and forth debating with folks about, oh, you know, if you a Christian, you need to kind of listen in a little bit on some of these policies and the things that's going on and all this, you know, just listen in. I'm researching, I'm listening, and all I hear is things that's contrary to the word of God as a Christian. With this political party, with this party, I'm not say demonic party, but the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party.
And just in stark contrast, I do think it is important to highlight what J.D. Vance's response was when this exact thing happened at a rally that he was at.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is king. And I don't think that we've seen...
Guys, I don't know what to tell you if you don't see this woman for who she is. Anti-religion, anti-God, anti-humanity, anti-family, anti-woman, and anti-children. They show us over and over and over and over again. But just as a little side note, this person could have shouted anything. They could have said, secure the border or protect free speech. And if the candidate for the president of the United States tells you that you are in the wrong place, they are letting you know that they are not the party of diversity and inclusivity. They are kicking people out and telling people who do not fall in line and who have their own thoughts that do not align with the accepted narrative, the accepted talking points, or the accepted agenda, that they are not welcome. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please be sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.